Yeah, interesting video. I made the point a while ago that if people really believe that abortion should be illegal, then they should be doing something to help the people who don't have abortions, but they don't do it because the reason that they honestly want people to not have abortions is to feel a sense of superiority about having their level of control over people's understanding, perspectives, and lives overall. And what you see in basic humanity and basic lives and basic understandings of perspectives is level of control and superiority. And we've used this through our government, so on and so forth. And it gives a feeling of superiority, which allows a lot of people, the majority of people within America, to accept the basic bullshit that goes on with our government. Because why? Because when you take a certain class of people, put them on a lower level, so on and so forth, there we go, lower level, and you put another group of people, put them on a higher level of superiority. The people that are on a higher level of superiority can look down the lower group and say, I'm better than these people just because of the fact that I do not understand them and I don't do the stuff they do. Not even realizing the aspects, the social aspects that comes to putting a group on the lower level. And this has gone out through society and through history for a long time. It was during the slave time, so on and so forth, and it continues on. And Republicans, I've realized, have done something incredibly ingenious, but it's like evil, like evil plot. I can see like with Rick Santorum, like he says some dumb stuff. I just can't believe that he's honestly that dumb. I really think of him as like an evil mastermind. Like if you're a Republican, you're either evil or just really really stupid because the Republican pitch is pretty much, what? You want to feel smart about being dumb? Vote Republican, and Jesus can be your answer to any intellectual question. And it's just like, seriously? No, no. It's not. It's not. It's not the same thing. Jesus could be your spiritual answer, a spiritual connection with God, or Jesus could have brought you to a connection with God, but Jesus is not the answer to freaking physics. Like you can't answer E equals MC squared with Jesus. You can't unless you do a roundabout way about your whole spiritual understanding and connection. And a smart person might be able to do it. But just answering Jesus something doesn't make you smart. It just makes you Jesus. But yeah. And I have problems with it. I really do. Because I don't think Jesus would be down with it. I mean seriously, Republicans and their idealism is a whole bunch of bullcrap. They nitpick and cherry pick certain perspectives and understandings from the Bible, and they use them to actually feed their interests. And that's how they get people to vote against their interests by perpetuating this understanding, like we know the Bible, and Jesus said murder was wrong, so on and so forth. And we're gonna take murder as wrong and gonna put it on abortion. We're gonna take it as abortion, and because it's abortion, so on and so forth, must be murder, and see what people eat it up. And the thing that the Republicans really offer stupid Republicans or just stupid people in general is the fact that they get a sense of superiority, have their intellect, even though they have no understanding about, a real political system, even though they have no understanding about, they get to have their voice be known on the same level as the people who actually do know what they're talking about. And why is this? Good question. Why do people get? Well, I mean, it's a good pitch because stupid people eventually realize that they're freaking stupid. The reason I could predict that the Tea Party was going to come about. I didn't know it was gonna be called the Tea Party, but I predicted the Tea Partiers and the Wall Street people coming out both because these two groups were looking for two different things. One group was looking for less freedom, the other group was looking for more freedoms. The group looking for less freedoms was the Tea Parties, and I realized they were going to come out because Obama having the possibility of being the first black president completely destroy their construct and understanding of what our social construct is, which is that even though that we have a quote unquote free government and we have freedom, so on and so forth, that every person, the largest person, the highest person in power has always been white. And because that got destroyed with Obama, I was like, oh shit, of course these people are going to come out against it because they've been, compliant with the government for so fucking long, getting screwed over by the government time again, and they had to be at least a little bit aware of it. And the second a black person gets in office, it's acceptable to actually talk shit about the government because of the fact that the person in power is black and no longer white. So it's pretty much like white people, stupid white people, look at the person in an authoritative position, the president, so on and so forth, like, oh, he's looking out for my interests because he's white. No, you stupid fuck. They've been fucking over for a long time. They just been compliant because he's white. And Obama gets in office and you're no longer compliant because you're like, oh my god, Obama's a communist, Nazi, freaking socialist. And he's also a Joker for Batman, which makes no sense, but it doesn't matter if it makes sense, because Jesus is your fucking rhetoric or retort to any type of questioning of your own understanding, which is just moronic, because Jesus talked about, helping people. And I think generally that's what Jesus was about. It's like, you know what, we could be messed up to people, we could do a lot of bad stuff to people, but let's not. And even more than let's not, let's help each other. But do you see that with the Republican idealism but fucking Christianity? It's like, it's a religiosity that is just unfounded. And I think religiosity is the word, but Republicans worship the religion of worshiping Jesus or worshiping the Bible. That's what it is. They worship the religion that worships the Bible. And the reason they worship the religion and not actually come into a deeper spiritual understanding about Jesus or what Jesus was about or what Jesus talked about is because of the fact that if you worship the Bible, you can nitpick and take certain actions, just take certain understandings and use them for your own personal means and manner to perpetuate your own understanding, which is, it's not positive whatsoever. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't progress anything. The only thing it does is allow people to have a certain perspective on a certain issue and says, the Bible says it's okay, so it's okay. It's not okay. I mean, if you, and like I said, I came to the point that, if you're going to say that a woman should force to have a baby no matter what means of contraception happened, then you should be giving money every week, every month. And I say the same thing to Christians. I think the same thing about Christians, that if they really believe in what Jesus taught, why doesn't the church ever come out and say, you know what, the $20, the 10% you're going to give us 5% of that, or give us 8% of that. The other 2% go out and help someone that really needs it, buy food or money or whatever, and do that. Do that with, your money, and be an advocate of Christ. But they don't do it because of the fact. It's a whole other video why they don't do it. But Republicans use Jesus as like, the Republican pitch to the stupid poor white people is like, you know what? You want to feel smart about being stupid? Vote Republican, and Jesus can be your intellectual answer to everything. And that's pretty much what it is. It's like, Jesus is my answer. Like, what are you talking about? And the problem is that I find, I'm not sure, just add this real quick point. I'm not sure if I said that before, but if I did, I'm just reiterating. But the problem with that is like, you can have a spiritual belief in God. You can be spiritually connected with God. You can love God to a huge degree and do everything you can for God. And that's great. It's beautiful. And you should try to do that, to try to do everything you can for God. But you can't take your lack of intelligence and say that because I believe in God, that I don't have to know anything about politics and then participate in politics. I mean, that's how probably most of the people, like, look at Hitler and stuff. That's what happens when that shit happens. It's like, you know what? You don't really have to believe or understand or really interpret, any intellectual understanding. You just got to vote with your religion or vote with, your supposed God. And I mean, and this is the other thing. But Jesus, I don't consider Jesus to be. Never mind. I'm not going into this. I think it's always better to worship God. God. Just God. And you can't go wrong with that. But I mean, Jesus' message was solid. It was basically, you can help people, and why not help people? It doesn't make sense for people to suffer and die like they do, and you not be able to help them when you have a chance to be able to help them. And Republicans like completely skip over that. It's like, Jesus, like, heal the sick, and Republicans are like, oh, freaking healthcare for all. What are you talking about? This is a capitalistic system, a capitalist system. Like, feed the hungry. Oh, we need to take poor people off of welfare. Help the poor. We need to take every certain single benefit that poor people get because of the fact that, they're taking our taxes. Like, where does Jesus talk about this? I mean, and the thing is, the biggest problem I have is that no Christians ever debate this point. They don't ever come with this point. Like, you know what? Where is Jesus' message in this Republican bullshit? I don't hear one pastor, one Christian coming out and just calling these people out on it. Because if you look at Jesus' message, it was solid. It was about progressing society in a beneficial way. But instead of that coming about, it's all about this stupid, arrogant bullshit that people use to manipulate people, which is a system that isn't positive. If you use something to manipulate a person, then you're taking away their free will, their understanding, their perspective, and more than that, you're using them to your own fucking agenda, and you're putting yourself in a position of superpower to actually manipulate that person in this fucking world. And that, if that's not a sin, then fuck, I don't know what is. But, you know, it really should come down to, what should it really come down to? People being able to understand. I mean, if you love God, so on and so forth, you believe in God, so on and so forth, that's fine. But don't use your belief in God to try to argue, you know, E equals MC squared. That means bullshit because I believe in God. It's like having cancer and being crippled, and you walk on your, you know, freaking crutches for your life, so on and so forth. You walk on your crutches, okay, that works. And then you get told you got cancer, and then you continue to walk on your crutches and think that's going to fix your cancer. It's not going to. Just because you believe in God and you have this huge level of spirituality does not mean that God is equated to any level of understanding that we have in this world. God has a lot of power, but God can't make you Einstein in a day. If you're a freaking three-tooth redneck, I'm sorry, you're not going to be Einstein the next day. But yeah, religiosity. Republicans, and I was going to end on this. You can have reasonable faith, and that's the only point I disagree with. A reasonable faith is pretty much that you help people, the world probably get better. It's reasonable faith. And I just want to say, because I disagree with Thunderfoot, you know, either religious or you're reasonable. You know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gandhi, freaking Louis Farrakhan, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, all very much so reasonable people, and they were also religious people. So I don't equate this stuff to the same perspective that so many atheists do. It's not the same thing. And if you think it is, you've allowed atheism to become your religion of pure acceptance over any idea that comes about because of the fact you're atheist. And that's more dangerous than you can understand, because atheism doesn't even have any guidelines or set rules. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, have a good one, TJ. Deuces.